Welcome back to the channel, everyone. If you love captivating stories about men transforming into women in unique and fascinating ways, then be sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Now, let's jump right into today's tale.
10 minutes later, they broke apart, both breathing heavily. Hannah found herself on her back, hair splayed across the arm of the couch, with Craig hovering above her. His eyes were dark with intensity, his usual hesitation replaced by something more primal. "Well," Hannah managed, trying to sound composed despite her racing heart. "That's one way to shut me up." Craig's lips twitched. "If I'd known that would work, I might have tried it months ago." "Oh, really?" She arched an eyebrow. "And here I thought you were too busy, pretending not to stare at me." "I wasn't pretending," he murmured, his voice rough. "I was definitely staring." Hannah's hands slid up his arms, feeling the tension in his muscles. 4 months of staring. And we could have been doing this instead. "You were my best friend," Craig pointed out, though his eyes never left her face. "It wasn't that simple," says the man who shaped this body with his subconscious desires. She grinned up at him. "Face it, dream boy. You've wanted this for a while." Craig's face flushed, but he didn't look away. "Maybe I have." The admission sent warmth flooding through her. Hannah reached up, curling her fingers around the back of his neck. "Then what are you waiting for?" Their lips met again, and this time there was no hesitation, no holding back. Craig's hands traced her sides with reverent attention, while Hannah's fingers tangled in his hair. "You know," she murmured between kisses, "your couch is surprisingly comfortable." Craig laughed against her lips. "Are you rating my furniture right now?" "Just making observations." She smiled wickedly. "Though I can think of somewhere more comfortable." Craig pulled back slightly, his eyes searching hers. "Hannah." "Craig." She mimicked his tone, then softened. "Take me to bed." His response was immediate. In one fluid motion, he scooped her up, making her squeal in surprise. "As my lady commands." "Oh, so I'm my lady now?" she teased as he carried her toward the bedroom. "Would you prefer dream girl?" "Careful. Hair," she warned playfully. "I might get used to that." Craig kicked the bedroom door closed behind them, his eyes never leaving hers. "Maybe that's the idea." The door clicked shut, leaving the rest of the world behind. Hannah drifted into consciousness, aware of 3 things. The warm sunlight streaming through Craig's curtains, the delicious ache in her muscles, and the possessive arm wrapped around her waist. A smile crept across her face as fragments of the previous night flashed through her mind. "Well," she murmured to herself, "that's one way to end a movie night." She turned carefully in Craig's embrace, studying his sleeping face. His usually perfectly styled hair was a disaster, partly from sleep, partly from her fingers running through it repeatedly the night before. He looked younger like this. All the overthinking stripped away, leaving just Craig. "Stop staring at me," he mumbled without opening his eyes. "Oh, now who's telling who not to stare?" She poked his chest playfully. "Besides, I created this body with magic. Pretty sure that gives me staring rights." Craig cracked one eye open, his lips curving into a sleepy smile. "Pretty sure I'm the one who shaped it with my desires." "Ah yes, your desires." Hannah wiggled closer, enjoying the way his arm tightened around her. Which, by the way, were very thoroughly expressed last night. His cheeks flushed, but he didn't look away. "Any complaints?" She pretended to think about it. "Well, you did take 4 months to finally kiss me." "I was processing." "Processing what?" "The fact that magic turned your best friend into your dream woman." She grinned. "Because I have to say, dream boy, you seemed to figure things out pretty quickly once we got to the bedroom." Craig groaned, burying his face in her hair. It's too early for you to be this. You love it, she said confidently, snuggling closer. His skin was warm against hers, and she could feel his heart beating steadily under her palm. Maybe I do, he admitted softly, pressing a kiss to her temple. Hannah smiled, tucking herself more comfortably against his chest. She felt right, like all the pieces of a puzzle had finally clicked into place. Craig. Just so you know, I expect breakfast in bed. It's the least you can do after making me wait 4 months. His chest rumbled with laughter. Is that so? And coffee. Lots of coffee. Demanding, aren't you? Hey, you shaped this body. High maintenance comes with the territory. Craig pulled back just enough to look at her, his blue eyes soft with affection. Worth it. Hannah's heart did a little flip in her chest. Yeah? Yeah. He smiled, pulling her closer. Though I might need convincing about the breakfast in bed part. Oh, really? She arched an eyebrow, her lips curving into a wicked smile. I can be very persuasive. Prove it, he challenged, and then he was kissing her again, breakfast forgotten as the morning stretched out before them, full of possibility. Hannah sat at Craig's kitchen table, wearing nothing but his oversized t-shirt and a satisfied smile. Steam rose from her coffee mug as she watched him move around the kitchen, making breakfast in just his pajama bottoms. You know, that, she mused. If I'd known this was what it took to get you to cook for me, I might have jumped you months ago. Craig nearly dropped the spatula. Hannah. What? Just stating facts. She took a sip of coffee, hiding her grin. Though I have to say, your bedroom skills are significantly better than your cooking skills. My cooking is fine, he protested, flipping a pancake with more force than necessary. Is that why you're burning that pancake? Craig cursed, quickly rescuing the slightly charred breakfast. You're very distracting. Me? She batted her eyelashes innocently. I'm just sitting here, drinking coffee, definitely not thinking about last night. The look he gave her was equal parts exasperation and desire. You're evil. Evil? Evil. She stretched deliberately, knowing his shirt would ride up. That's not what you were saying last night. Craig abandoned the stove, crossing to her in 3 quick strides. His hand cupped her face as he kissed her, deep and thorough, before pulling back with a smirk. Better? Much. She hummed, reaching for his hand. His fingers interlaced with hers automatically, like they'd been doing this forever instead of just hours. The way he looked at her now made her heart skip, like she was precious and sexy and completely his. Gone was the awkward tension, replaced by something deeper, more certain. You're staring again, she teased. Can you blame me? His thumb traced patterns on her palm. You're kind of incredible. Kind of? Just kind of? She pressed a hand to her chest in mock offense. I'll have you know I am extremely incredible. Your subconscious literally couldn't imagine anyone better. Craig laughed, the sound warm and rich. And so humble too. Hey. False modesty is overrated. She tugged him closer. Besides, you clearly have excellent taste. Do I? His free hand slid into her hair, tilting her face up. She smiled up at him. Though your timing could use some work. 4 months of tension? Ah, really? I was being cautious. You were being ridiculous. She corrected fondly. But I suppose it worked out in the end. Craig's expression softened as he looked at her, thumb brushing her cheek. Yeah, it did. Zap. Pot. She accused, but her smile gave her away. You're sap. He countered, leaning down to kiss her again. "About time." "Yes," she murmured against his lips, feeling him smile. "Yeah," he agreed softly, pulling back just enough to meet her eyes. "About time." The pancakes ended up burning, but neither of them particularly cared.